this initiative will not only strengthen economic ties, but also foster a sense of pride and belonging among Nigerians worldwide, encouraging them to play an even greater role in our nation's development. To guide us through today's proceedings, allow me to provide a brief overview of the agenda. We will begin with a comprehensive presentation by the Managing Director of NIBS. Subsequently, a dynamic 30-minute panel discussion moderated by the Deputy Governor of Financial System Stability will bring together esteemed industry leaders. After that, we'll open the floor for 10-minute Q&A. Finally, the Governor of the Central Bank will deliver his remarks.
Nigerian Intercontinental Bank Settlement System National Central Switch and is owned by all the Deposit Money Bank and the Central Bank. The trusted National Super Switch, designated critical national infrastructure by the Federal Government of Nigeria, and will provide interoperability and enabler for ecosystem financial activities and facilitate cross-border payments through PAPs, and of course created a lower cost of banking services. We enable, we don't compete. The NRO BVN solution overview is built with a world-class verification, validation and authentication standard, delivers centralized KYC and customer verification for non-resident Nigeria, provides scalable, it's based on the scalable platform. And the NRO BVN issuance for Nigerians, the ID verification and biodata enrollment, facial biometric is captured, your liveliness checks and phone validation service, NRO BVN issuance and validation delivered. It's a seamless account opening through the portal, and of course, the most important thing, direct remittance via the platform.
In the last 20 years or so, the economic growth in India and Pakistan was largely driven by diaspora flows, very significant diaspora flows over the years. So this will enable us to unlock those flows. Everybody, as we're all aware, I think after the Indians, Nigerians is probably the most successful diasporans abroad in terms of professionals holding jobs, doing businesses. So this is a great opportunity for them to participate in the growth of Nigeria. Most of us are aware of what's used to obtain in the past, where you would, through several channels that are not official channels, diasporans will send money home and they will receive pictures of buildings that are actually not their buildings. So this is now an opportunity for you to actually open those accounts, make investments in property, in the financial markets, in the capital markets as you wish, just the same way they do abroad, and be able to monitor what is happening. So this is significant, and we expect that once all the banks and the IMTOs latch on, we would see significant growth in diaspora flows and develop our economy effectively.
For us, Zenith, we are very ready because we are part of the process, we are part of the integration, and we are part of the entire journey. And we've been able to build a very robust IT infrastructure, which we have enabled with NIBS platform, and we are ready to start the onboarding process. And within that period, because Zenith has just fully launched, and we're able to get a new IT infrastructure that is very robust, that's going to be able to onboard a lot of customers seamlessly. We integrated the liveness identity capabilities in the system to be able to check the identity theft, which makes the process very secured. And for us, we have also put a lot of staff in place to do training to be able to take care of the onboarding of diaspora on the NR BVN platform that we have in place, waiting to take off, and we've done the testing, and I can assure you that it is working and is very effective.
This is something they're all excited about and looking forward to with proper implementation. They do have some concerns, like for instance, data privacy protection, which I'm sure you will handle as we move on. They also have concerns about double taxation. They've been asking me, I hope it doesn't be a backdoor double taxation, but I'm sure those are things that with more explanation on what this is about, we will explain these things to them. We look forward to working with you and the CBN to take this directly to the diaspora. We're still scratching the surface with $20 billion remittances. We haven't gotten anywhere yet. We're saying we have about 20 million Nigerians in the diaspora. We have much more than that. I'm not talking about those ones on the African continent. So we're still scratching the surface. So if this is properly implemented, what you're talking about, India, Bangladesh, Nigeria will go way ahead of that.
So if you want to send money to Africa, you worry about the FX impact. Whether we like it or not, there's a huge FX impact. I don't want to say, I've lived in London for 20 years, even though I'm Ghanaian. I don't want to move all my money to Ghana. I don't want to do that, right? Because I worry about the FX impact. And my Nigerian brothers worry too. I live with lots of them. I know lots of them. Now, this removes that risk completely. And it allows them to directly take part and influence the financial system. They can buy houses, they could do mortgages, they could invest in financial products, they could start businesses and invest in their own businesses. This is a game changer. This begins to change the landscape. So as remittance companies, as I run one, yes, you would say that this is moving the money from the remittance companies to the banks. But no, this is doubling remittances from 20 billion to 40 billion. This is a whole new additional thing. So you would begin to see that money will start going into small businesses because we can do that now. Money will start going into investments because we can do that now. If I can invest in a home here, I'll probably do that now. So I genuinely believe and feel, on behalf of all the remittance companies and all the diasporans living everywhere in the world, that this will change the game for Nigeria. This will bring more remittances in. And if you don't see remittances double in 10 years, there is something going wrong here. So I firmly believe that. And I would want to see it happen.
But speaking seriously, I think, Didi, when you started, you spoke about India, you spoke about Pakistan, maybe I'll add Mexico to that mix. These are countries who have funded a large portion of their economies through diaspora flows. I think at the last count, India had about 83 billion in flows, the likes of Mexico about 40, Pakistan about 30 billion. So where we are today at over 20, we might compare to Pakistan. But that can't be our benchmark. I mean, as you rightly pointed out, we're no different from India. Nigerians in diaspora excelling across the world. 7 critical markets, the US, the UK, Canada, Ireland, Germany, Italy. You find Nigerians excelling in those markets and doing extremely well financially and able to bring wealth back into the continent.
Most of us probably are aware that Nigeria is working to get off the grey list, FATF's grey list. And that requires a lot of effort in terms of the technical side of things. But one thing it does require as well is this very visible, system of integrity, if you would. And the NRBVN is a very good example of that. It does, what we couldn't have done in so many words, because it requires compliance with standard KYC protocols all over the world, sanctions lists like the CEO of NIPS said, and those things are critical. And as a compliance person, it is very rare to be able to say that you're part of something that you would use the tagline innovation, in addition to it. So this is a very exciting time for everybody.
African country comes with their own problem. We want to share API, for instance, to pull data from internal affairs or from resident permit portal. Those portals are in different languages, Portuguese, French, and all that. So to MD of NIPS, it would be nice for us to have your perspective as to the challenges that you faced in that broad concept that you have done with the 300 and something Nigerians that have interacted with the portal.
I think the language barrier is being taken care of, and there are software that can deal with that, so it's not a problem. And we intend to integrate and collaborate and work more on the African continent.
While you were presenting, I saw $50 there. So does it take money to enroll? Because I know for us here in Nigeria, I don't know if the banks take it from the side, but it didn't take us any amount to enroll for BVN. And I saw $50. $50 should be about 80K. With 1,600, that's considerably high to me.
We are also incurring costs in providing this. I talked about the sanction list, I talked about the Dow Jones. We also pay foreign currency. It's not cheap, because to ensure and guarantee the AML standard and the KYC standard, we've plugged into various global platforms to verify those identities, and we incur that cost. So this is more like a cost recovery.
MD of Keystone, is this okay? I think Nibs mentioned that one transaction has been concluded through your bank. So can you tell us?
Yeah, it's been a very wonderful experience for Keystone Bank, and we've done a transaction that went through, and it's a wonderful experience. In fact, we've set up a desk already, and we've seen a lot of interest, coming up from abroad. We're working with NIPS to achieve more mileage on that, so it's a good experience.
This is what the Nigerian spirit is all about, the can-do spirit. When we started, we didn't think it was possible, but we did them. Seeing that it was possible to do is what has made us bolder in the ambitions. And of course, that is why we have such a wide cross-section of stakeholders here today. The NRBVN is a dynamic initiative, one that will continue to evolve in response to the needs of its users. Through digital verification and robust Know Your Customer processes, Nigerians across the globe can now remotely obtain their BVN swiftly and securely. This single digital gateway will enable seamless access to banking services, including opening accounts and securely sending funds, dramatically enhancing convenience and reducing costs. Very important. Consequently, remittance flows through official channels have risen markedly and ended up at 4.73 billion last year. With the introduction of NRBVN and complementary policy measures, we are optimistic about achieving our ambitious targets. A goal we believe is entirely achievable given the growing trust and convenience in formal remittance channels.